The Bold and the Beautiful Luna's Secrets Unveiled. Who's really responsible for the two murders? Please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up before the video starts. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers and updates question what drives someone like Luna Nozawa, Lisa Yamada, to choose the path she did. This is a question that likely crossed all our minds as we watched her being escorted away in handcuffs. Luna is a relatively new addition to the landscape, and it raises the question, is there a darker side lurking within her psyche? Could this be the reason for her descent into chaos? Was it purely nature, nurture, or a combination of both? According to Luna, her mother, Poppy Nozawa, Romy Park, was far from a good parent, often leaving Luna in the care of others, failing to provide the consistent support a child needs. There are even hints that their household struggled with food scarcity, forcing Luna to fend for herself at a young age. Additionally, Poppy's questionable associations, particularly her involvement with illegal substances, suggest that the company she kept was far from suitable for a child. It can be argued that Luna's upbringing influenced her decisions, yet Katie Logan Spencer, Heather Tom, offered a compelling perspective. During a conversation with Poppy, who was feeling guilty about the events that transpired, Katie pointed out that once a child reaches a certain age, they are responsible for their own choices. She is absolutely right. After turning 18, every decision Luna made was solely hers. She had the option to refrain from taking a life, but instead, she chose to kill two individuals and then attempted to shift the blame onto her own mother. Luna took it a step further by holding her aunt Lee Finnegan, Naomi Matsuda, accountable for her life decisions. She expressed that instead of passing judgment on her and her mother, Lai could have intervened and improved her circumstances. Lai rejected this notion, arguing that it was Poppy's choice to ignore the advice she had generously offered over the years. Could Lai have truly altered the course of Luna's transformation into the person she became? Might she have had the opportunity to guide Luna toward more positive choices? While we can ponder these questions, it ultimately may boil down to a single factor. It seems that Luna harbored deep resentment towards Poppy for the years of trauma, poverty, and instability she endured. While it's easy to understand where that resentment comes from, Luna's choices are difficult to justify. Why would she choose to take the lives of two innocent people and involve them in the wrongs she believes her mother inflicted upon her? Tom Starr, Clint Howard, despite his desire to be part of his daughter's life, didn't directly harm her in any way, and poor Hollis Chambers, Paul Hollister, was merely a messenger. No amount of resentment or trauma can justify the act of murder. Right now, the situation remains unclear. The last confirmed detail we had was that Luna was incarcerated and might face a lengthy sentence. There's been no indication of when her sentencing might occur or if she has secured any legal representation. It raises questions, especially since Bill had offered to support her in a fatherly role. Could he also be considering hiring a lawyer for her? However, given Luna's troubling actions towards her mother, who was involved with Bill, and her inappropriate advances that made him uncomfortable, it wouldn't be surprising if Bill chose to distance himself. So the whole situation and the future of Luna Nozawa is still uncertain. The Forrester mansion buzzed with an undercurrent of secrets, glamour, and trepidation. Luna Vasquez, a mysterious yet striking beauty who had recently taken the fashion world by storm, found herself ensnared in the heart of it all. Her arrival in Los Angeles, where the Forrester family reigned supreme over the fashion empire, was no accident. She had come seeking truth, but the cost of that truth would turn deadly. Two bodies had been discovered within a month, sending shockwaves through the high society circles of Los Angeles. The first was Carter Walton, a close confidant of the Forresters and their legal counsel, found lifeless in his office under mysterious circumstances. The second was Thomas Forrester, a creative genius who was once hailed as the family's heir apparent. Both deaths bore the same cryptic signature, a single black feather left near their bodies, a symbol that gnawed at Luna's conscience. She knew it meant something that tied back to her own past. Luna had always been a woman of secrets. Raised by a single mother, she had spent her childhood in the shadows of the fashion world, but never in the spotlight. Her mother had been a seamstress for the Forresters long ago, and Luna knew deep down that her family's past was intertwined with theirs. Her arrival in LA was more than a career move. It was personal. "Luna, I'm worried about you," said Ridge Forrester, his voice soft but tinged with concern. He stood before her, towering like a modern-day Roman god, his gray eyes searching hers for answers she wasn't yet ready to give. She smiled faintly, her cool exterior never faltering. "I'm fine, Ridge. Truly." Her dark, almond-shaped eyes held secrets, ones she wasn't sure she could ever share with anyone, least of all Ridge, the man whose family was the key to everything. The Forrester patriarch didn't look convinced, but he let it go. His mind was elsewhere, weighed down by the mounting pressure of the murders and the scandal threatening to unravel their legacy. What Ridge didn't know was that Luna had been in the building the night Thomas died. She had seen things she could barely process. There had been a figure, cloaked in darkness, moving with purpose and leaving that ominous black feather behind. But when the police questioned her, Luna said nothing. She knew enough about the Forresters' tangled web of power, deception, and betrayal to understand that speaking too soon could have deadly consequences. She left Ridge standing there, retreating to her apartment where the weight of her secrets pressed down on her chest like a vice. Luna hadn't always been Luna Vasquez. Once, she was known by another name, Elena Forrester, the secret love child of Eric Forrester, and a Spanish model, Pilar Vasquez. Eric had paid off Pilar to disappear, to ensure that his pristine reputation would remain intact. Luna had grown up without a father, her mother warning her to stay far away from the Forresters. But blood calls to blood, and as soon as Luna had come of age, she had changed her name and set her sights on uncovering the truth. Now, 2 murders and a scandal threatened the very family she had sought for so long. Late at night, as she scoured her mother's old journals, Luna came across an entry that shook her to the core. Pilar had written about a secret deal between Eric and an old rival, one involving a substantial sum of money to cover up not just Luna's birth, but also another scandal. A name appeared frequently in the journal, Felix Mendoza, a dangerous man who had deep connections to the underworld. Mendoza had been involved in various shady dealings in the fashion industry for decades, and Luna realized that Carter Walton had been investigating these connections before his untimely death. Thomas, too, had been working on something that might have unraveled the Mendoza connection and implicated Eric Forrester in a scandal that could ruin the family. Were these 2 murders tied to a secret long buried? As Luna delved deeper into her investigation, she began to feel the walls closing in. Mendoza had resurfaced in Los Angeles, and he wasn't happy. She caught glimpses of him at events, watching her from the shadows. One evening, while leaving the Forrester Creations office late, she found a note in her car. Her hands trembled as she crumpled the paper, but Luna wasn't easily frightened. If anything, the note confirmed her suspicions. Mendoza had to be behind the murders, but what was his endgame? Determined to protect herself and expose the truth, Luna turned to the one person she had avoided for so long, Eric Forrester. If anyone could unravel the connection between Mendoza, the murders, and the family's dark past, it was her father. But confronting him meant exposing herself, and Luna wasn't sure she was ready to reveal her true identity. The confrontation between Luna and Eric was inevitable, a collision of past and present. She arranged a private meeting in his art studio, where the walls were lined with portraits of the family he had built without her. The air was thick with tension as Luna revealed her true identity. "I'm your daughter, Eric," she said, her voice steady despite the turmoil raging inside her. "Pilar Vasquez was my mother, and I know what you did to protect yourself and this family." Eric staggered back, his face ashen. "Luna, Elena, I didn't know. You didn't want to know. But this is bigger than me. Mendoza is back, and he's killing people to keep your secrets buried. Carter Walton and Thomas Forrester, both dead because of something you tried to cover up years ago." Eric's eyes welled with tears, but there was no time for guilt. Luna laid out her theory. Mendoza had murdered Carter to silence him before he could expose the family's past. Thomas had been close to uncovering the same truth, and he had paid the ultimate price. "We need to stop him," Luna said, her voice firm. before more people die. In a dramatic showdown at Forrester Charity Gala, Luna and Eric confronted Mendoza. With the help of Ridge and Brooke, they orchestrated a plan to lure him into a trap. The black feather, once a symbol of death, became the key to his downfall. Mendoza, cornered and desperate, confessed to the murders, revealing that he had been blackmailing the Forresters for years, using their darkest secrets against them. As the police hauled him away, Luna breathed a sigh of relief. The murders had been solved, but her journey was far from over. She had uncovered her true identity. But what would that mean for her place in the Forrester dynasty? As the night faded, Ridge approached Luna, his eyes filled with both sorrow and admiration. "You saved us all," he said softly. Luna looked out over the city. The weight of her secrets finally lifted. "No," she whispered. "I just uncovered the truth. Now it's time to live with it." And with that, Luna Vasquez, Alina Forrester, stepped fully into her destiny, no longer bound by the shadows of the past.